All right, good afternoon. So we're going to look at final exam prep, and I've chosen 6 English questions here, and the final exam will be similar. Okay, the numbers will change, but the kinds of problems will be the same. It's not my intention to make one of them like terribly much harder than that one. If anything's harder, I hope it's the prep. Okay, so I'm not going to apologize if your final exam question is easier than the prep, but I will feel bad if it's harder. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to look at evaluate the integral, this one, or state that it diverges. Okay, so here we go. We have 1 over 1 minus x squared here, dx. Now, this is one of those improper integrals, right? Because if x were 1, right, when x is 1, it happens to pass between 0 and 2, there's going to be a problem, all right? So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to use our limits here. And the whole point of this problem, because if I didn't put limits on here, this is a Calc 1 problem, isn't it? So if I didn't put limits on there, then, it's going to be a much easier problem. So because there's limits, because it's an easy integral, the whole point of this is I want to see your form, I want to see your setup, I want to see you go through this with, the proper notation. Okay, so what we're going to have to do, all right, is we're going to have to break this integral up. We're going to go from 0 to 1, and actually we maybe want to go to 1 to, well, we can go to 1, but we'll go to a. We'll say a is equal to the limit as x approaches 1 from the bottom. Okay, we've got 1 over 1 minus x squared here, dx, plus, and then we'll say b, right, is equal to the limit as x approaches 1 from the top. Okay, so we're going to have b, right, to 2, because we're going to skip over 1. We're going to get really close to 1, we're going to skip it, and then we're going to get really close to 1 on the other side, and we're going to skip it. And we're going to do 1 minus x squared, okay, dx. All right, so that's really what I'm looking for, is for your ability to hey, there's going to be a problem here, there's a singularity. We're going to have to replace that with something else, all right, and then use limits when we get there. Okay, so we're going to make a little pit stop over here, and I'm just going to say, what is the indefinite integral of 1 over 1 minus x squared? That way I don't have to do this thing twice. Okay, so it's really not that bad, right? We're just going to, you don't even have to really do this. We'll let u is equal to 1 minus x, not that squared, right? 1 minus x, du is equal to negative dx. So what we're going to have is 1 over u squared, negative du now, which is equal to integral negative that, right? Du. Now, regular power rule, right? So we're just going to have negative x to the negative 1 divided by negative 1. This cancels. So this is just going to be u to the negative 1. Okay, technically plus c, but we're going to put limits in here in a minute. So we're not going to, we're just worried about this part here. Okay, we're not trying to deal with anything else. So this is going to be 1 over 1 minus x. Okay, that's what we have here. Okay, negative sides canceled out, so beautiful. We don't have to worry about that. So let's go in and start evaluating this bit here. Okay, so we have limit, right, as x approaches 1 from the bottom. Okay, again, we'll call that a. So we'll have 0 to a of 1 over 1 minus. Oh, we already did the integral. That was the whole point of that. Okay, the whole point of doing all that improper integral, indefinite, was to say from 0 to a. Okay, and then plus, and then we have limit x approaches 1 from the top. So b is equal to that, and we'll have b to 2. Okay, and again, we've already taken the integral. And I'll need to write that in. Okay, so 1 over 1 minus x, b to 2. Okay, so this is going to be limit as x approaches 1, right, of 1 over 1 minus a minus 1 over 1 minus 0. Okay, plus we have limit, right, as x approaches 1, and then we have 1 over 1 minus 2 minus 1 over 1 minus b. Now, as a is approaching 1, right, if we plug in 1 here, we have a problem, right? That's 1 over 0. That's undefined. Okay, this limit, right, this goes to infinity, right, minus 1. Okay, plus, and then we're going to go through this one. This is going to be a negative 1 over here, right? And then we have minus, again, if we plug in 1 here, right, we have 1 over 1 minus 1. That's undefined. That's also an infinity. You can't do this. You can't say, well, infinity minus infinity is 0, so this integral is negative 2. No, that is terribly wrong. Don't do that. All right. You've got infinity over infinity, or infinity minus infinity. There's really nothing you could do about this. Okay. If it was inside of a logarithm, we would be able to do some fancy stuff with logs, right? And do something like this. We would say this is, we have log of a minus log of b. We could turn that into a fraction, couldn't we? We could say that's log of a over b. We just got infinity over infinity here, and there's not really any sort of a way to kind of massage this into a L'Hopital's kind of a form. You're done. Okay, this diverges. Okay, you've had it. There's nothing else to say about that. Okay, so if this problem diverges, if you guys write infinity minus infinity, that's a terrible mistake. Okay, I usually grade out of 6 points. That's like automatically a +2 or +1. So be really careful, because when you get the final exam and you do this, there might be some kind of a weird thing with logs. Show me the L'Hopital's. Okay, show me taking the limits, and or show me when you dividing by the x's, or the n's rather, the x's. Show me that you're using the logarithm and you say, oh, that's log of 1. That's 0. Okay, it converges because we could do this to it. All right. So be real careful with that. If you've got infinity minus infinity, that's it. You can't multiply this. Okay. 2 infinity minus 1 infinity. Again, this is nonsense. Okay. Don't write that down and expect it to have any meaning. At that point, diverges, nothing else I could do. Okay. So I'm going to try to go through these. So they're short videos, so you guys could watch the ones that you are stuck on rather than pawing through an hour-long video. So I'm going to go ahead to stop this here and post it.